6,576 yards from the White Tees. Where are we, ladies and gentlemen? The historic Rolling Acres, nestled in the countryside of South Beaver Township. 1964, designed originally by James Harrison, and then they rebooted this 27-hole links-type course in 1988 and blended some of the old with the new, and it truly is historic. It's a legendary track, and if you love good countryside golf where you can kind of get away from the world and even put that mobile phone away, ladies and gentlemen, this is the place to be. Here he is, Consulting Solutions Incorporated, Mr. John Hudson, former Secret Service agent. We have a very special video coming up after this. The real reason we are here to salute an amazing family and a very courageous young man, Gino Royal, where there will be a golf event to help him, and he needs your help September the 2nd. But before we do that, obviously the big story trending today, Donald Trump Jr., a Russian lawyer. We've been talking about that. That's going to be saved for another day, but we're now talking about President Trump and the G20 and what really went on for those really amazing days throughout that weekend, in which we now know that there is some sort of relationship starting with some parts of the world that we thought were hopeless, China being one. We know what's happened in Japan with Shinzo Abe. That's been a great relationship. And the bridge has been really built, I think, now between Vladimir Putin, the ex-KGB agent, and a stern leader who really cares about his country, as does President Trump. And I think for our country and the global economy to move forward, we need these two countries to come together. So the other night on the radio, actually the other morning on the radio, I asked John to join me to talk about the KGB, which was formed in 1954, disbanded in 1991, make similarities of the CIA to let people understand the mission, who they are, what they are all about, and how really Vladimir Putin is a guy who's all about his country, and he has a very tough outlook at times because of a very staunch upbringing in the KGB. And being that he's a former Secret Service agent, I think he'll be able to make a whole lot of sense about that. We'll tell you about what he does with his amazing company that just continues to grow and really make huge strides as far as security in our region is concerned, even on the roads that you travel, ladies and gentlemen. So talk about this man that you and I know it's hard for people to understand, and yeah, he's got a rough exterior, and you know, he has been known to be very tough at times to an extreme, but I do believe that there's a guy who's passionate about his country, and there's a reason why he's tough because of his days with the KGB, but I think in the long run that he and Mr. Trump may actually do some amazing things. That's my opinion. But talk about the KGB and Vladimir Putin, Joe.
Well, first of all, back to the G20, one of the first amazing things that they've already done is a ceasefire in Syria that took into effect just a day or two ago. So that's just another W on the win side. That's good for not only the Republicans, but for the Democrats and the whole United States as a whole. So with respect to the KGB is actually a conglomerate of domestic terrorism, counterterrorism, counterintelligence agencies, whereas in the United States we have the CIA that does foreign intelligence gathering, right. We have the FBI that does domestic terrorist gathering, we have the Secret Service who does protection of the president as well as national security special events. So we have separate agencies compared to the KGB, which is a conglomerate of many agencies, until it was disbanded in 1991.
All right, now I want to talk a little bit about security as far as what they do to protect each other's country. And one of the things that we've heard recently trending is that the Russians have stepped up their espionage, meaning spying, and I think a lot of it has to do with because the president was courageous enough to ask him not once, twice, multiple times, according to Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, did you have anything to do with the campaign in 2016? And he said, absolutely not. But I think the Russians probably want to know who's spreading those rumors. But spying and espionage and security and cameras and drones with cameras, that's just what they do.
Yeah, that's what they've always done. And they've been doing it since the 50s. And they'll continue to do it in through next year, and then to the next administration. It's nothing that we can do about it. All we can do is the same thing, but from our perspective. So it's a very interesting agency or group of agencies, and when you get them all together working as one, like we did post 9/11, we actually formed the Department of Homeland Security, which brought together at that time 23 federal agencies under one umbrella. Which these 23 agencies now formed a new unit, DHS, which was 184,000 people as one organization.
You know, when I think about what the possibilities between these two countries could be, I think of it as being unlimited, especially in the business of manufacturing. When you look at the steel community, those who make it, we for many years were number one, obviously with that footprint that was U.S. Steel. But now you look at places like China, Russia, and India that are ahead of us. It would only make sense to do business, and the whole idea, the president was over there talking about NATO not spending enough for defense and talking about the North American Free Trade Agreement, which he just does not believe in, and European trade too as well. So if we can find a way to make it a more balanced and even playing field and do business on a global scale with people like Russia, especially with the possibility of natural gas and where that is headed, and now China is buying more of our oil than even the Mideast because it's cheaper, I think the sky really is the limit. And that's why I like the fact that they sat down for what was supposed to be 30 minutes, but it turned out to be over 2 hours.
Well, I think we're long past due with politicians being politicians. Us now, the United States, having a businessman, a billionaire businessman running the economy and trying to cut taxes where we can cut taxes, and kind of revamp our economy is something that we've needed a while back. These notions in the past where a president has appointed a person that he likes for whatever the reason to be an ambassador from one country to another country for no other reason than a relationship or some other tie that he might have with him. Trump's taking a different approach, and he's putting people in charge of those different trade agreements that has a good understanding of business and finances and how to create growth in a otherwise declining economy. So I think it's all good things to come.
It is all good things to come. Now listen, Sean Hannity tonight is going to have Donald Trump Jr. on his program. This is me. You can get in tight on me here, Jack, because I just want to give a little bit of an editorial comment, something from the heart that I think you all need to be really thinking about when you hopefully watch Sean Hannity tonight and Donald Trump Jr., is the fact that, you know, meeting with the lawyer, whether they be from Russia or any other part in the world, in my opinion, what does it really mean, okay? And as far as the possibility of them wanting dirt on Hillary Clinton, no one really knows what went on in that meeting. Some say that they were really there to talk about adoptions. And she has said that she has no ties with the Kremlin. The Kremlin, meanwhile, says that they know nothing about any meeting with any lawyer. So once again, we find the Trump family with their backs against the wall, but many times in the past, we have seen them rise from the ashes. And believe me, this thing is far from over. But what really frustrates me, coming off of something as significant as the G20, in which I believe the president really represented our country, wanted to make America stand alone and have an opportunity to let the rest of the world know that I'm here to help the constituents, the people that voted me into this office, and it's all America all the time. But there's a way that maybe we can do a good deal for both sides. And isn't it ironic, no sooner said than done does he arrive back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and now we have another big splash concerning a member of his family, and once again, a Russian connection. Will it ever end? I don't know. Something else trending is that Robert Mueller, special investigator, is now going to be looking at a bunch of emails. So all I can say to all of you, it will play itself out like everything else does, but it's starting to turn into more of a soap opera that I'd be watching at lunchtime, Monday through Friday, than really politics. And as long as that goes on, it's going to be hard for this country to move forward and do business that will make America great again. We'll come back to tell you about a great event September the 2nd here at Rolling Acres, John Hudson and me, right after this. Stay with us, folks.